Let me start by bringing you back to 2012. I am 14 years old. I have low self-esteem. I am battling to even just like my body on a daily basis. I am at the peak of my struggle with mental illness and I'm refusing to get help. I feel helpless and unlovable. And a lack of attention from boys my age, combined with the impossible expectations of our media, have convinced me that I am not good enough to be loved. No matter how close I may fall to the beauty standard, there are still so many things wrong with me. I am far too small from a height standpoint to be a runway model, yet I am far too big because I am passionate, and this is so intimidating. Yet when I'm in 7th grade, I'm also told that I need to be bigger, or rather that my chest needs to be bigger, if I'm to be liked. I'm so confused on what love means, but I do know that I am a hopeless romantic and that I really want to be in love, or even just to have my first kiss. Enter the boy. He is everything that I am not, but that I so desperately want to be. He is older, impressive, independent, charming, charismatic, smart, and super involved. This boy is a leader. So when he starts talking to me and paying me attention, I am floored. Months go by, and pretty soon, I'm experiencing love for the first time. Or at least what I think is love, but anyway, this feeling for him is stronger and more intense than anything I've ever experienced in my 14-year-old life. It's the perfect setup. At first, everything is absolutely incredible. So as months go by and he starts getting angry at me and telling me that everything, just about everything, all the time is my fault and that I never do anything for him, despite always giving him attention and supporting him, I am optimistic that things will go back to the way that they started. And when he is jealous and blames me for ridiculous things and causes dramatic, exaggerated, fake situations just to work me up, I hate it. And I feel on edge all of the time. And I'm nervous to see him because I don't know if he's going to be angry at me. But despite all that, I am optimistic that things will get better and go back to the way that they were when we first started. After all, it really did start out so great. He was so kind to me. I'm so confused. Why do I feel like I'm on this emotional roller coaster that's going mostly down and only barely up, and I'm constantly on edge, literally to the point where I feel sick? And what is going on? Well, what's going on is emotional manipulation and abuse. I just had no idea. Though I didn't know it at the time, abuse doesn't have to be physical. It absolutely can be, and sometimes is, but in fact, there's all different kinds of abuse. There's verbal and emotional and sexual and even economic and academic. Because I wasn't being hurt physically, I didn't think that it was serious. I was wrong. It was serious. All forms of abuse are serious. And though I didn't know it at the time, abuse doesn't happen just in romantic relationships. It can happen within friendships and within family relationships. I thought that because we weren't dating or doing anything intimately, that it wasn't serious. I was wrong again. All forms of abuse are serious. And though I didn't know it at the time, the unsettling reality is that abusers aren't always scary individuals dressed in all black that come out of the dark of the night. Sometimes they're one of the most well-known and most respected individuals in the community. This is the hard truth. Today, though, I know a lot more than I did years ago. Today, I know that abuse is common, far too common. 1 in 3 adolescents in the United States is a victim of abuse. 1 in 3. And while it's important to note that absolutely anyone of any group can experience abuse, it statistically affects already disadvantaged groups the worst. In fact, young girls and women face the highest rates of it, almost triple the national average. It's also important to note that abuse rates are devastatingly higher if you are an LGBTQ youth or a Native American, Alaskan Indian individual. This reality is absolutely unacceptable. So, where do we go from here? Unfortunately, there's a lot that needs to happen. We need more research on abuse, especially research that focuses on how abuse affects people of color, transgender individuals, gender nonconforming individuals, disabled individuals, and immigrants. We need to build self-esteem in all girls and teach them that it's not mean to say no, but that their wants and needs are really important too. We need to change our media and end sexualization by replacing our sex-saturated propaganda with honest conversations about what relationships look like. We need mandatory, inclusive, and comprehensive sex education mandated at a federal level. We need to redefine what masculinity is, and then redefine power. And while doing that, we need to teach men that it is okay to reach out for help when they are the ones that are being abused. And that being stated, we need to make sure that everyone is comfortable to reach out for help, especially women of color who are more likely than white females to experience violence, yet less likely to use social services. Okay. I could keep going, but that's an incredibly overwhelming list of things that need to be taken care of. At least, I know I'm certainly overwhelmed. So, how do we even begin? My friends, we start with ourselves. When I was 15 years old, I decided to start with myself. It felt as though no one was talking about the many issues my friends and I were going through, despite the fact that they were serious and critical and having long-term consequences. I mean, one of my best friends even got a concussion from her abuser that ended her long-time athletic career. That just isn't right. So slowly but surely, I started to use my voice. When I was 15 years old, I teamed up with a few of my friends and gave a workshop to a group of 8th grade girls on issues like body image, media, self-esteem, mental health, relationships, and so much more. The workshop went so well that I gave a second, and at the second, I met an 8th grade girl named Lexi Phipps. Together, we formed an organization called MOVE, Motivate, Overcome, Value, Empower. That was 4 years ago. Over the past 4 years, I have worked with hundreds and even thousands of young girls, sharing with them things I wish I knew when I was their age. Through MOVE, I have given dozens of workshops to middle and high school age girls all over New England, and I have co-run 2 week-long successful summer programs. 70 girls attended last year's summer program, and we had an all-teenage staff of over 10 girls, and I am so incredibly proud of the movement that we have started. I have also written and published a 300-page survival guide called Survival of the Prettiest, and I frequently write and speak about issues that I believe to be important. Over the past 4 years, I have reclaimed, or it's actually even been so much longer than that by this point, over the past several years, I have reclaimed the voice that I am privileged enough to have. And with my voice, I refuse to be silent about issues so prevalent and so devastating. Quite frankly, we can't afford to be silent because abuse hides in the darkness and in the silence. 57% of college-age women say that abuse is hard to identify, and 58% say they don't know how to help someone who is experiencing it. We can begin to end abuse by having conversations and by bringing it into the light rather than letting it hide. When we shine a light on abuse and when we really examine it and understand it as a culture, our contributions can illuminate more light. When we share our light, our truth, our struggles, and our experiences, we make others feel less alone. That being stated, I am one person with one experience. And I am so well aware that my voice can't be everyone's, and I'm not going to inappropriately overstep and speak for everyone. I can't, nor should I, attempt to end abuse alone. So if you are watching this speech in person today, take a picture of yourself at this event and Instagram it or put it on Facebook with a statistic and maybe something about changing the odds. If you're watching a recorded version of this talk on Facebook, YouTube, wherever it is, share this video. Don't underestimate the power of social media. And these are just small suggestions. You can do something so much bigger too, and let me know because I really do want to help you. If we do these things, we will resist the darkness that abuse is so commonly found in. So as I end this, I want to leave you with a couple of things. The first is a reminder. I want to remind you that if you are experiencing an unhealthy relationship or have previously, that you are not alone. The second is a note. I want to note that there are so many good resources out there, such as the One Love Foundation, loveisrespect.org, and more. You don't have to do this on your own, and you can and you should reach out for help. The third is a challenge. I challenge you to do your part, or more specifically, I challenge you to make one post on social media about what I talked about today. Just one post. It's not hard to do, and it has the power to reach so many people. The fourth and final is a quote. Martin Luther King once said, "Time itself is neutral. It can be used either destructively or constructively." Time isn't going to fix this problem, or any problem, really. But we are, and we can, and we will. Together, we will fix the problem of abuse, and I challenge you all to be part of that solution. Thank you.